take one. Okay, so this is me, Beck, Elfie, aka Elphaba from WW, and my first reading request is from Wicked, pages 99 to 104. Averick had left for the summer, once the exams were done, and Boq either had flim-flammed his way through, or disgraced himself, in which there was little to lose now. This first rendezvous with Galinda might be the last. Boq bothered with his clothes more than usual, and got an opinion on how to fix his hair from the new look in the cafes. A thin white ribbon around the crown of his head, pulling his hair straight from the nub, so that it burst into curls beneath like froth exploding from an overturned basin of milk. He cleaned his boots several times over. It was too warm for boots, but he had no evening slippers. Make do, make do. On the appointed evening he retraced his way, and, on the stable roof, found that a fruit-picker's ladder had been left leaning up against the wall, so he need not descend through the leaves like a vertiginous chimpanzee. He picked his way carefully down the first few rungs, and then jumped manfully the rest of the way, avoiding the lettuces this time. On a bench under the worm-nut trees sat Elphaba, her knees drawn casually up to her chest, and her bare feet flat on the seat of the bench, and Galinda, whose ankles were crossed daintily, and who hid behind a satin fan, and who was looking in the other direction. "Well, my stars and garters, a visitor," said Elphaba. "Such a surprise!" "Good evening, ladies," he said. "Your head looks like a hedgehog in shock. What did you do to yourself?" said Elphaba. At least Galinda turned to see, but then she disappeared behind the fan again. Could she be so nervous? Could her heart be faint? "Well, I am part hedgehog, didn't I tell you?" said Boq. "On my grandfather's side, he ended up as cutlets for Ozma's retinue one hunting season, and a tasty memory for all. The recipe is handed down in the family, pasted into the picture album, served with cheese and walnut sauce. Mmm! "Are you really?" said Elphaba. She put her chin on her knees. "Really, hedgehog?" "No, it was a fancy. Good evening, Miss Galinda. It was good of you to agree to meet me again." "This is highly improper," said Galinda, "for a number of reasons. As you well know, Master Boq, but my roomie would give me no rest until I said yes. I can't say that I'm pleased to see you again." "Oh, say it, and maybe it'll make it true," said Elphaba. "Try it out. He's not so bad, for a poor boy." "I'm pleased that you're so taken with me, Master Boq," said Miss Galinda, working at courtesy. "I am flattered." She clearly was not flattered. She was humiliated. "But you must see that there can be no special friendship between us. Apart from the matter of my feelings, there are too many social impediments for us to proceed. I only agreed to come so that I could tell you this in person. It seemed only fair." "It seemed only fair, and it might be fun, too," said Elphaba. "That's why I'm hanging around." "There's the issue of different cultures to start," said Galinda. "I know you are a Munchkinlander. I am a Gillicanese. I will need to marry one of my own. It's the only way. I'm sorry." She lowered her fan and lifted her palm to stop his protest. "And furthermore, you are a farmer from the agricultural school, and I require a statesman or a banker from Ozma Towers. This is just how things are. Besides," said Galinda, "you're too short." "What about his subversion of custom by coming here this way? What about his silliness?" said Elphaba. "Enough," said Galinda. "That'll do, Miss Elphaba." "Please, you're too certain of yourself," said Boq. "If I may be so bold." "You're not bold at all," said Elphaba. "You're about as bold as tea made from used leaves. You're embarrassing me with hanging back so. Come on, say something interesting. I'm starting to wish I'd gone to chapel." "You're interrupting," said Boq. "Miss Elfie, you've done a wonderful thing to encourage Miss Galinda to meet me, but I must ask you to leave us alone to sort things out." "Neither of you will understand what the other is saying," said Elphaba calmly. "I'm a Munchkinlander by birth, anyway, if not by upbringing, and am a girl by accident, if not by choice. I'm the natural arbiter between you two. I don't believe you can get along without me. In fact, if I leave the garden, you'll cease to decipher each other's language entirely." She speaks the tongue of the rich, you speak clotted poor. Besides, I paid for this show by wheedling Miss Galinda for 3 days running. I get to watch." It would be so good of you to stay, Miss Elphaba," said Galinda. "I require a chaperone with a boy." "See what I mean?" Elphaba said to Boq. "Then if you must stay, let me talk," Boq said. "Please, let me speak for just a few minutes, Miss Galinda. What you say is true. You're highborn and I am common. You're Gilcanese and I am Munchkinlander. You have a social pattern to conform to, and so do I. And mine doesn't include marrying a girl too wealthy, too foreign, too expectant. Marriage isn't what I came here to propose." "See, I'm glad I didn't leave. This is just getting good," said Elphaba, but clamped her lips shut when they both glared at her. "I came here to propose that we meet from time to time, that's all," said Boq. "That we meet as friends. That, free of expectations, we come to know each other as dear friends. I do not deny that you overwhelm me with your beauty. You are the moon in the season of shadow light. You are the fruit of the candlewood tree. You are the phoenix in circles of flight." "This sounds rehearsed," said Elphaba. "You are the mythical sea," he concluded, all his eggs in one basket. "I'm not much for poetry," said Galinda, "but you're very kind." She had seemed to perk up a little at the compliments. Anyway, the fan was moving faster. "I don't really understand the point of friendship, as you call it, Master Boq. Between unmarried people of our age it seems distracting. I can see it might lead to complications, especially as you confess to an infatuation I cannot hope to return, not in a million years." "It's the age of daring," said Boq. "It's the only time we have. We must live in the present. We're young and alive." "I don't know if alive quite covers it," said Elphaba. "This sounds scripted to me." Galinda rapped Elphaba on the head with her fan, which folded smartly up and opened just as neatly again, an elegant, practiced gesture that impressed all of them. "You're being tiresome, Miss Elfie. I appreciate your company, but I didn't request a running commentary. I'm perfectly capable of deciding the merits of Master Boq's recital myself. Let me consider a stupid idea. Lurlin above! I can hardly hear myself think!" Losing her temper, Galinda was prettier than ever. So that old saw was true too. Boq was learning so much about girls. Her fan was dropping. Was that a good sign? If she hadn't had some affection for him, would she have worn a dress with a neckline that dipped just a tad lower than he had dared hope? And there was the essence of rose water on her. He felt a surge of possibility, an inclination to rub his lips on the place where her shoulders became her neck. "Your merits," she was saying. "Well, you're brave, I suppose, and clever to have figured this out. If Madame Morrible ever found you here, we'd be in severe trouble. Of course, you might not know that, so scratch the bravery part, just clever. You're clever and you're sort of, oh, well, I mean, to look at." "Handsome," suggested Elphaba. "Dashing?" "You're fun to look at," decided Galinda. Boq's face fell. "Fun?" he said. "I'd give a lot to achieve fun," Elphaba said. "The best I usually hope for is stirring, and when people say that, they're usually referring to digestion." "Well, I might be all or none of the things you say," said Boq staunchly, "but you will learn that I am persistent. I will not let you say no to our friendship, Galinda. It means too much to me." "Behold the male beast roaring in the jungle for his mate," said Elphaba. "See how the female beast giggles behind a shrub while she organizes her face to say, 'Pardon, dear, did you say something?'" "Elphaba!" they both cried at her.